Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. What we think of it compared to Terraforming Mars? Coming up.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Terraforming Mars is one of the most favorite board games, and this is Terraforming Mars Lite, aka Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. We're gonna go through a quick overview of the game and what we think of it.
Yes, so Ares Expedition is a combination of... The simplest way to think of it is it takes base Terraforming Mars, it strips out the map, and it introduces the Race for the Galaxy phase selection mechanic. It really, that is what it comes down to. There are a few other little things that are gone, like power stations are out. Some of the mechanics over here on your player board work a little bit differently, but it's mostly the same. So each round, everyone's going to start with a corporation, as usual, and a hand of cards.
Or just one out of the two.
Yep. And then each round you're going to pick one of the 5 phase cards, so you can look at them. Everyone picks them secretly. You'll reveal them all at once.
This is the competitive version, obviously.
Yep, you'll reveal them all at once, and then all the ones that get played will be the phases that get resolved in this round. And if you play a phase, you get an extra bonus for that phase. So it's very much an established mechanic from the Race for the Galaxy, Roll for the Galaxy, and a few others. And these are all the different phases. So there are 5 phases. Development lets each player play a green card, a green project card from hand. Still have to pay the cost, just like you would in any normal game. The phase 2, construction, allows you to build a blue project card, which again, like in the base game, those are actions or effects, or a red card. Then phase 3, the action phase, lets you play all the actions on your blue cards and do the standard projects. So this is where you convert your heat into temperature, your plants into... you still produce forests, but they're in the form of these little forest victory point tokens that you collect and get extra points for at the end of the game. It also increases the oxygen. And also where you can spend money on the basic parameters. Production is production. You'll gain exactly as you would in the base game, with the exception that the steel and titanium, you never actually gain cubes for those, you just take it as a discount.
And this is one of the major difference. Oh, there's a lot of difference, but production or income does not come automatically in this game, not like Terraforming Mars, the base game.
Yep, someone has to play it.
So if more than one person play this, then it's just one action, but that person that plays it get a certain benefit stated in the card.
Yep, and then the last one is research, and this is where you gain new cards. So draw 2 and keep 1. There's a lot of effects in the game that will let you get more. And so likewise, cards don't come automatically. This is how you hunt through the deck for your combos and better cards. You can cash cards in for money at any time, 3 to 1 instead of 1 to 1 like in the base game, so that gets things moving a little bit more quickly. Mm-hmm. And otherwise you can probably work the rest of the game out from your knowledge of base Terraforming Mars. There are some ocean tiles here, so you need to flip all 9 ocean tiles and get the oxygen to the top and the temperature to the top as usual.
So what's the difference between this competitive and cooperative mode?
Yep, so unlike the board game, this comes with a 2-player cooperative mode where you've got 15 rounds to work together to max this out and score 80 points between you. It works in a pretty similar way to the base solo mode. It has a very similar feel. You work together to pick the phases that work the best for you, and you've even a couple of times during the game got the ability to swap cards with each other to build each other's engine up. And so it's a real game of looking for efficiency. It's an interesting It's an interesting co-op. And as I say, it does have a very similar feel to the base game
solo one.
solo mode. This one also comes with a solo mode, which I haven't tried.
And we, in the cooperative though, although we don't actually see each other's hand for these cards, but we talk about what we're gonna do, what sort of cards we're gonna pick on each phase. And this card, by the way, there's another twist. If you play this round, you can't play this the next round, the consecutive round, one round after that. So you gotta play something else and you pick this up, ready to be used for the next round. So what do you think, Tarrant?
Well, I mean, we'll start with the fact that we're both very big fans of Terraforming Mars.
That's
We
right,
have all
yeah.
of the expansions. We often play... Well, I think we've only played Turmoil once, but it's pretty common for us to play with all the expansions we have and all the different boards.
I feel Turmoil needs to be played for more player counts.
Yeah.
So we haven't actually played that much. I do love Venus.
Yeah, Venus adds something, the colonies adds something. It all, we've played so much of it. So
yeah.
this really strips a lot of things out of the base game. It is in its own right a base version, so it's very
basic.
straightforward, and it takes out a lot of things that I really like in the base game.
Aww.
Essentially, it's I would play the board game before I would play Ares.
Mm-hmm.
I find that by having taken the power plants out, you take all the interesting map placement side of things out, because that, particularly at the end game, when you're building up cities and trying to get the best spots and the bonuses on the board, that's a huge part of what makes Terraforming Mars great, in addition to building this engine.
Mm-hmm.
So losing that, it strips it back. It's fine, but it's not... I would play the board game first.
It's, as Tarrant say, it's really hard because it's kind of biased with comparing. Of course, you're going to have to compare with the base game. That's because you kind of like expect that in this one, which you didn't find. The race to, the one that gets 10 points rather than 5. The race to, what is that?
The milestones and awards.
Yep.
It's another big part of it, yeah.
I do like the Roll for Galaxy mechanics though. I think it's quite smooth in this one. Plus, other thing is I like cooperative games usually. So hence I like cooperative Terraforming Mars. Okay, it's one of the top games, and then able to play cooperatively. I think that's a big plus for me. So yes, I will play this again. I'll play the board game, but this one I still play because it has that Terraforming Mars base game feeling in a more compact form. And what I'm missing though, like some of the ones that Tarrant says, I miss the card draft. I like card draft in Terraforming Mars. I think that it's optional actually, optional rules, but I feel like that's very, very needed in Terraforming Mars.
This one's a very deck mining sort of game.
That's true, it's got a lot of...
And you can, in addition to the research, there is now card production on some cards, so it gives you a way of mining for cards. And even just spending them as money. But it is quite important. You need to go looking for those card productions at the start, because it can be tough without them.
So it's kind of like similar, but then different game on its own. What I would suggest as well, if you want to introduce somebody to Terraforming Mars, maybe do this one first, Terraforming Mars Ares, because it's lighter, it's easier to comprehend, and then once they kind of like play this and then introduce them to Terraforming Mars base game.
Yeah, I've gone back and forward on whether I think this would work as an entry level Terraforming Mars. I think it probably does. I think you get the theme and the science out of it, because you can see the thread of having heat cards and how heat is generated and how oxygen and plants are generated. One of the things with the full Terraforming Mars is it takes a long time to comprehend the whole story, because there's so much science packed into the game. Things like where you buy a power station and then you have to spend an energy production instead of just a energy cube in order to build a city, and it's because that power station is powering that city, which is then next to plants. So there's so much science in the base game. And you can't comprehend it all at once. This strips a lot of that out, and I guess makes it easier to comprehend the initial science and the initial theme before you then get into the map placement side. The other thing that's much more entry level, which I don't like about it, is that the icons are all gone from the cards. You know, in the base game, unless it's a really obscure effect, everything is written in icons. Here, any auto effects are written in text, and as an experienced Euro gamer, I don't like text. I don't like reading text on cards. The only icons here are for the productions. But here, you're raising the temperature 3 steps and gaining 7 mega credits.
Okay, that's a little bit nitpick, a little bit.
It is a bit, and I know that as I've tried to explain Terraforming Mars to entry-level gamers, going through the difference between, right, if it's on the brown background, it's production. If it's not,
right, yeah,
that sort of thing does take a little while to sink in. But at the same time, once you're someone who plays a lot of games, having to read text on cards, nothing drags down a card game than having to read text on cards.
Okay, that's fair enough. But then again, considering it's Terraforming Mars, we pick it up pretty quickly.
Yep.
Because we love it so much. Anyway, have you played this? Have you played the base game? I assume that a lot of people have played the base game. Have you played the Ares Expedition, and what do you think of it? I would definitely play this again with 2 players. It's probably better for cooperative mode because there's probably, for competitive, you need more people doing different phases of the game. I would think so. Well, we play 4 players competitive. We play 2 players cooperative, and it feels like that.
Yep. What I would say for this, and I know, if you're looking for reasons to go for this rather than the board game, there are plenty of people out there who just think the board game goes too long, and this doesn't have that issue. So it is a quicker game. It lets you squeeze it in, whereas Terraforming Mars, the board game, especially with colonies or turmoil, is your whole night.
Yeah, your whole night, yeah. But some people like a longer... there's always different opinions. Some people say it's too long. Some people say too short.
Well, that's true.
What do you think? Is it too short? Is it too long? Let us know as well. We're curious because it's just... If you ask us your top 10 favorite game of all time, I would say Terraforming Mars is one of them.
Yeah, it's certainly in there.
Yeah, it's certainly even top 5 maybe. So, yeah. What do you think? Again, let us know in the comments. We want to know as well. Maybe this one has got expansion. I mean, the box seems like it is kind of ready for expansion, maybe.
There is space in there for
There's space, yeah. Or maybe space for sleeve guards. I don't know. True. That's another topic.
Yep. What I will also say, I said the power plants are out, which is true. There's still power tags, but they're not out. There are still cards in here for microbes. There are still cards in here for animals. So you've still got those strategies that you're used to. There's still Jupiter cards in here, which tend to be the highest scoring cards.
Tarrant is really good, by the way, with Terraforming Mars. You usually win.
There's still science cards that if you can commit to them get really powerful, but it's very rare to see. In this one and the board game, I think I've only ever played one game where someone's gone really heavily into science tags and tried to get those big science tag combos, but 2 of us did it in the same game and it ended up being really hard. Really quite.
Yeah,
but I'm reminiscing about the board game, which is not what this is for.
That's okay. You usually win the board game.
I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't.
You were pretty good.
I think it ends up... I think the random nature of the card draw means it's a very even game in general.
Yeah.
Which is probably something else people may not like about it. It's kind of a luck of the draw game, but in a fun engine building kind of way. Yeah, it's like Gamer's Talisman, maybe.
Talisman? Oh, yeah. I did mention about the random card draw, though. I did miss the card draft. Maybe you can house rule it or something. Just do card draft. Hey. Anyways, one more before I go. What's your favorite corporation? I like either hit generation or plant generation.
Oh,
if I have that, then I will probably pick that one.
I don't know. I tend to find that the corporations, they should be...
it should be combo with what cards you have.
Yeah.
But just always like gravitating. Well, I want to know as well, how about you? What do you like to play? What sort of strategy you like to play?
I don't know. There's so many, and I remember seeing a lot of the fan-made ones as well, and I can't. I get them confused with the other ones. I remember there was one in colonies that gave you extra colonization ability, and that was pretty handy because colonies can really, make your plant or microbe or animal strategy really strong.
Oh no, I haven't actually used a lot of microbe or animal strategies, and I would love to one day. But I do like Venus strategy. That is fun.
You do tend to go for Venus more than the average. I know Venus is the one expansion that many people think is a bit too much of a bolt-on.
Nah, I like that. And that's because no one's we play 4 players a lot as well. No one's doing the Venus strategy, so and we draw things. So I've been just collecting the Venus cards, and that works for me. Anyway, we're just on and on about different the basic Terraforming Mars as well. And let us know in the comments as well what you think of it. And if you find this video useful, please help us by hitting that like button and subscribe to us if you haven't already done so. We do reviews like this. We do how to play Stella Short and Sweet in live playthrough on the weekend. I'm also on Instagram. Hopefully we'll find each other there. Did I tell to subscribe? Yeah, please subscribe as well. Hit the meeple in the corner somewhere and hit the bell. That's it, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye.